Today's video comes to you direct from my kitchen. We're going to look at Google Earth, but not just anything in Google Earth. We're going to look at the Voyager part of Google Earth because that's pretty cool. So let's get started. You should know that for the purposes of this video, I am using a computer and I'm using the Google Chrome web browser because, according to Google at least, if you use Google stuff, it's better in Google Chrome, which would make sense. Your kids are obviously going to be using iPads for the most part, so it's going to look a little bit different. They're going to use the Google Earth app, which basically gives them all the same functionality as you have here in this video, except for the very last thing that I'm going to show you. Anyways, I Googled Google Earth. There we go. You can also get there by typing google.com/earth/. So we're going to launch the Earth. Wait for it. There we go. Voila. So now we're at Google Earth. There's a whole bunch of tools on the left here. I'm only going to show you this one, which is Voyager, because that's the whole point of this video, is to show you the Voyager thing. So Voyager, remember, it takes you on different voyages around the world organized around some kind of central topic, like in this case, frozen lakes. And then they also organize them up here. So you have games. Games typically is quizzes for various things around the world. However, I thought this was kind of cool. They do have where on Google Earth is Carmen Sandiego. They got a bunch of Carmen Sandiego games. For those of you who aren't as old as I am, Carmen Sandiego was this game in like the late 80s, I think, early 90s, where you got to wander around and track down Carmen Sandiego because she's a criminal and you're a detective and she's wandering around the world and you catch her and learn a lot about geography in the process. So then there's layers, like polar sea ice coverage, different things like that. Street view, culture, travel, and education. So I'll show you a sample voyage just so you can kind of see how they work. More or less, all of them are going to work the same. So we'll just kind of go through here and we'll just go to the Underground Railroad. I'm going to start exploring. When you're in a voyage, typically it's going to take you to a certain location, in this case the Niagara River, and it's going to plop you down there with some kind of information card. You'll usually have an information card like this one that tells me a little bit about how this relates to, in this case, the Underground Railroad. Once you're there, then you have the ability to do all the stuff you would normally do in Google Earth. So I can look around. I can, with this plus and minus, zoom in and out. I can, on this little street view guy, I can switch back and forth between street view and not street view. And when I'm not in street view, see, I can toggle between 2D and 3D. Doesn't really show you a whole lot of difference. This thing here exits you out and flies you to your current location, which we're not going to do. But essentially in a voyage, so okay, I've learned as much as I can about how this relates to the Niagara River. Now I can click on this arrow to the right. Now I'm at a completely new area that the person wanted me to go to who made this particular voyage. So now we're at this battlefield. Here we are. I can look around, right? I've got some information. I can switch between 2D and 3D and street view and not street view, etc., etc. So that's generally speaking how a voyage works. So you may be saying to yourself, well, that's awesome, Dave, but what if we're not studying the Underground Railroad or the geometry of castles? How is this of use to me? And my answer to that would be that, well, one, if you've got 10 minutes of time to kill in like a study hall or a RAM time, this would be a good little fun educational thing you can do with your kids. But two, and this is where the power of this comes in, you can actually create your own projects, your own voyages that you can specifically tailor to your particular class's needs. So that's what we're going to look at in the next part of this video. So in order to create my own project, I have to go to the menu, which is these three lines. I'm going to go to Projects. I'm going to create a new project. So we'll create a project in Google Drive, so it saves everything automatically to Google Drive. I'm going to edit the project. There we are. These are some cool, let's just do small towns in Colorado. So I give it a title, I give it some kind of description. Now I have to add features. So where it says new feature, I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to search to add a place. So let's go to array. Google will take me over to your array. It'll also pull up here on the right a card about your array that it usually pulls from Wikipedia or something like that. If I'm good with this the way it is, I can just click Add Project. I can change it if I want and add it to a different project if I want, but this is what I want, so we're going to hit Save. So that's one way to do it. It doesn't require a whole lot of effort on your part because you just have to find the places. But in some cases, you might want to edit it and personalize it a little more. So we'll add another feature. So we're going to add Telluride. Again, here we go. We fly over to Telluride, and voila. Now I'm going to add Telluride to the project. However, I'm going to edit it this time. So when you edit, you can now personalize a lot of different things. I don't have to just sit there and be happy with whatever Google pulled up about Telluride. I can replace the information in there and the picture with stuff of my own. So maybe I want to add some information of my own. Telluride has a gondola. I can add my own pictures. If I have some on the computer, I can just use that. Or like here, I can do a Google image search for, in this case, Telluride. We'll just take that one. I can bold, underline, all that kind of stuff. You can change whether you want a small info box, which is what it is, or a large info box, or I guess no info box. Large info box takes up like the, I don't know, the entire right half of the screen. I can change my little icons here. You can change the color. You can see it kind of changes over there on the right. I can also, if I'm not satisfied with this view, I can change the view so that when my kids look at this, or whoever looks at this, they'll see something different. So maybe this is the view I want, so I'll capture that view. And there we go. So once I'm happy and satisfied with this, I'm good to go. I can exit out of there. So see, now I have two features, Uray and Telluride. I could keep adding features. In fact, I can also draw lines and different things on my features as well. I could add more place marks, so I could specifically point out, pizza restaurant that I like or something like that. The last part, once you have your Voyage set up, is to share it with your kids. So to do that, you go up to this person icon, and then you got to set some permissions and make sure everything's how you want it. If you go to this gear, there's a couple things that you can look at and set the way you want. For your kids, you're probably not going to sit there and add them one by one or whatever. This would be like if you wanted to add a teacher and the two of you were working on this together. You're going to share a link. Okay, so see this part where it says get link? Here's the link. You would copy that link into your Google Classroom or however you want to share it with your kids. And then here, you're going to have to change, I would change it to that just because it's a little bit easier. But you definitely want to go and make sure that you're giving your kids either viewing or editing permissions. If you give them editing permissions, then they're going to be able to change the voyage. If you just want them to go on the voyage, have them as a viewer. So copy the link. Hit done, go to Google Classroom or wherever you're going to share that link, and now your kids can go on your voyage that you specifically designed for them. So anyways, there you go. It's pretty simple to use, and I think it's an awesome, powerful tool to kind of make things real for your kids. Instead of just talking about the setting of your story, you can actually take them to the setting of your story, which I think is kind of cool and powerful and definitely helps them, with the learning process. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you around.